I was fortunate enough to be mentored by one of my heroes, Father Daniel Berrigan. And the first arrest I had for civil disobedience in New York in the mid-'80s was with him. And it was the happiest day of my life because I just followed his example. We did it prayerfully, we did it nonviolently, and we did it joyfully. This is a measure of uniting the will of the Spirit to the work of the flesh. I cannot not do this and be myself. I know too much. You know, I am a responsible adult human being, and I cannot not do this thing and be honest with myself. I'm the only one that I have to live with, and so I'm here. Well, you know, the old phrase, she that hath offspring giveth hostages to the future. It doesn't belong to us anymore. We're the caretakers, the stewards. And we have to invigorate the young. We have to inspire the young to do a lot better job than we did. We're handing them a broken, weary world, and they have to make the best of it. Dr. J. Robert Oppenheimer, who's considered the father of the atomic bomb, and at Trinity, the first test down in New Mexico, at the explosion, he quoted the Gita and said, "Now I am the destroyer of worlds." And he understood what he'd done at that moment. Remember, those guys watching that test who had built that bomb were not sure that the universe would not catch fire and the atmosphere would burn. They didn't know it, and yet they risked that. That is the epitome of insanity. Oppenheimer appealed to Truman, who basically threw him out of the office because he wept. He wept in the Oval Office with Truman, begging him not to engage in an arms race. And Truman, called him a crybaby and said he should have thought of that before he created the bomb. The atomic bomb was not necessary. And in fact, Nagasaki was a secondary target. The clouds were over another city, and they were given instructions to just drop it on this city where they just happened to have a clear day on August 9th, the second bomb. So it was clear that we were like children with a new destructive toy. We didn't understand how powerful it was, how destructive, how impossible it was to close Pandora's box. Although, from the mythology of Pandora is the truth. That's what comes out of Pandora's box, is truth. So we know how evil we can be. We know it now. There's no excuse for not knowing. We do know, and we have to accept responsibility for knowing. We know what nuclear weapons do, and it doesn't show a lot of intelligence or any compassion to keep making these wretched weapons, and we now have a whole new system. And they're developing now, Livermore just got the contract over Los Alamos, and they're all happy as Larry over there. Why build them in the first place? This whole effort of this administration has been, and I think genuinely, to stop Iran and North Korea from developing nuclear weapons. Well, what the hell are we doing developing them? We have split. We are paranoid. We are schizophrenic. Our whole policy is schizophrenia in the world. People can't trust us. The only country in the world that had nuclear weapons and that totally disarmed was South Africa. And they did that under Nelson Mandela. And that's leadership. That's human behavior. That's responsibility. That's intelligent. He showed the way by getting rid of them. I don't think these are a good idea. That's inspired leadership. So give us Mandela.
Thank you very much.
All right, kiddo. Sorry I'm such a windbag. You didn't get a chance to ask anything.
No, that's okay.